The start of the problem between Catholicism and Freemasonry has its roots in the 1500s. Until 1534, England was a Catholic nation. That year, King Henry VIII passed the Act of Supremacy, which enabled England to split with the Vatican. Many people believe that Henry did this because the Pope would not give him permission to divorce Catherine of Aragon. But the situation was more complicated. The Vatican collected money from parishioners when they attended church, called Peter's Pence, and Henry, who was always short of money for war, objected to a foreign country taxing his citizens. Secondly, as all Catholic nations were part of the Holy Roman Empire, it meant that Henry had to get the Pope's permission when anointing bishops or even deciding on his successor, and Henry railed against this too. Henry then established the Church of England, and since then every monarch has been the defender of faith. Because of the Act of Supremacy, Catholics were allowed to live in England but were not allowed to pray in churches or to hold office in the government. However, during the era of the Stuarts, which is the period just before the revival of Freemasonry in 1717, despite the Act of Supremacy, 4 of the kings were Catholics. This upset the nation, and between 1605 and 1640 there were demonstrations and plots against Catholics in London. For example, the Gunpowder Plot with Guy Fawkes. The Treaty of Westphalia in 1648, which was signed by 109 European delegations, including the Holy Roman Emperor Ferdinand III, ended the 30 Years' War, which had pitted Protestants against Catholics. Also, it effectively ended Pope Innocent X's power base in Europe. During the civil wars from 1649 to 1660, King Charles I and the Royalists sought the help of Catholic Ireland and France in fighting the parliamentarians, and after the war had ended, Charles was captured and accused of treason. At his trial in 1649, Charles stated that he ruled with the authority given to him by God, which was called the divine right of kings, and that no court had jurisdiction over him. However, the court claimed that the king was not a person but an office, and so had to obey the laws. He was executed the same year. In 1666, the Great Fire of London was initially blamed on Catholics, though it was actually a fire at a bakery that started the conflagration. But it took 200 years for this fact to be acknowledged publicly. In 1716, the year before the founding of the Premier Grand Lodge, Catholic Jacobites raised an army that came down from Scotland with the intention of taking the throne by force. King George I's army stopped them at Preston in Lancashire. Then in April of 1738, Pope Clement XII issued a papal bull, In Eminenti Apostolatus Specula, condemning Freemasonry, which was later confirmed in 1751 by his successor and by each pope since then. The same year, the revised constitutions of Freemasonry were published, but neither the constitutions of 1723 or 1730 were added to the index of prohibited books. I will now look at how this bull affected Freemasonry and what it means to Masons now in the coming videos. Thank you.